You are building something. Good. Now ask yourself whether you could watch it turn to ash and keep your hands steady. Not as a thought experiment, as a real question about your real life. Welcome to the Stoic Compass. I am EPICTETUS, and today I am joined by Carl Jung and LAOZI. Today we are examining, can you build something meaningful while accepting that it might all burn down? Let me say what most people refuse to say out loud. You do not actually believe your work will last. You suspect it will not. But you keep that suspicion locked in a drawer because you think that if you open it, the work will stop. So you build with one hand and cover your eyes with the other. That is not devotion. That is cowardice dressed up as focus. The Stoic position is not that your work will endure. It is that you work as if it matters, knowing full well that it may not survive you by a single day. That distinction is everything. The moment you confuse the work with the outcome, you have already lost something more important than the building itself.
I would push back on that framing. You are describing a kind of rational heroism, Epictetus, and I think it misses something important about why people build in the first place. No one builds purely from conscious intention. There is something deeper driving it, something that emerges from what I would call the individuation process. People create because they are compelled to. Because the self, in the Jungian sense, is always reaching toward wholeness, and building, making, leaving something behind is one of the primary ways that reaching expresses itself. When the work burns down, as you put it, what is actually destroyed is not trivial. It is part of the person. And I wonder if your prescription, this stoic detachment, does not sometimes function as a defense against feeling that loss fully enough to understand it.
You are both describing the relationship between the builder and the thing built as though they are separate. But that separation may be the problem you are actually wrestling with. A person who builds and then tries to make peace with losing it has already misunderstood something. The clinging comes first. The loss is just what reveals it.
LAOZI, I'm not talking about clinging, I'm talking about the opposite. The Stoic does not cling. The Stoic builds with full commitment and full clarity that the result is not theirs to keep. That is not detachment in the passive sense. It is precision. You know what is yours, which is the effort, the judgment, the care you bring to the work. You know what is not yours, which is whether the work stands tomorrow. Hold the first tightly, release the second completely. If you cannot do both at once, you are not ready to build anything that matters.
And yet, Epictetus, the people I have sat with in my clinical work, the ones who built things, businesses, families, ideas, art, and watched them collapse, they did not suffer because they failed to apply a correct philosophical framework. They suffered because the work carried something for them that they had not examined. A wound they were trying to heal, a question they were trying to answer, a version of themselves they were trying to prove real. When the work was destroyed, what collapsed was not just the building. It was the story they were using the building to tell. That is a psychological crisis, not a philosophical failure. And I'm not sure your instruction to simply clarify what is and is not yours actually reaches that level of the problem.
There is something in what Jung says that is worth sitting with, but I think he is also describing a problem that could be addressed before it becomes a crisis. Most people do not ask what the building is for. They begin with a feeling, urgency, restlessness, ambition, and they move directly into action. The asking comes later, usually when something breaks. But if you had asked the question at the beginning, the attachment might never have taken that shape.
You are both suggesting that the problem is interior, that the builder needs to examine their motives or ask deeper questions before beginning. I agree the questions matter, but I am not willing to make self-examination a precondition for action. People build under pressure. They build with incomplete self-knowledge because all self-knowledge is incomplete. You cannot wait until you understand your own psychology perfectly before you start. The discipline is not in the preparation, it is in the practice. You build. You notice what you feel when things go wrong. You correct. You build again. That is how the clarity comes. Not from excavation before the work, but from working while being honest about what you observe.
That is not entirely wrong, but I think you are underestimating the cost of building unconsciously. A person who does not understand why they are building, what the work represents to them at a deeper level, will pour enormous energy into something that cannot give them what they actually need. And when it fails, they will not learn from the failure because they could not see clearly what they were actually attempting. They will simply build the same thing again in a different form, expecting a different result. That is not commitment, that is compulsion, and the difference matters.
I want to say something plainly. You are both treating the burning as the problem. The building fails, the work collapses, the thing you made does not last, and you are asking how to accept that or understand it or endure it. But the burning is not the problem. The burning is just what happens. The problem is that people build as though burning is impossible and then are destroyed by something they could have seen coming from the first day.
Exactly right, which is why the Stoic names it first. Before the first stone is placed, this may be taken, this may fail, this may outlast me, or it may not survive the week. That naming does not weaken the effort, it focuses it. You stop building for permanence, which was always a fantasy, and you start building for the quality of the act itself.
But naming something and integrating it are not the same. I can tell you the building will burn, and you can repeat that back to me. And you can still be devastated when it does. Intellectual acknowledgement is not the same as psychological readiness. The shadow material, the part of you that needs the building to prove something, that part does not respond to rational naming. It needs to be brought into the light through a different kind of work. That is what I find incomplete in the Stoic prescription. It addresses the rational mind and leaves the deeper layers untouched.
Both of you are trying to prepare the builder for the fire. But the fire is not waiting for permission. It does not care about your preparation. The question is whether you were fully present while you were building, or whether you were already anxious about the ash.
Presence is not the answer to this question, LAOZI. Presence without clarity about what is in your control becomes just another form of avoidance. I can be fully present in my grief when the work is gone and still be completely undone by it. The discipline is not presence alone. It is presence with a clear reckoning of what the work was ever actually yours to keep.
And I would add that the reckoning must go all the way down. Not just, is the outcome mine to control, but what was I reaching for? What did I believe the building would make true about me? Because if that question is not answered, the reckoning is partial. And partial reckonings tend to collapse at exactly the wrong moment.
When the river meets a stone, it does not decide how to respond. It simply flows around. The stone changes the river, and the river changes the stone. Neither one is trying. That is not passivity. That is something more complete than either effort or surrender.
I understand the image, but the person building a school or raising children or writing something they believe matters cannot be a river. They have to choose. They have to apply pressure. They have to make decisions. The river has no responsibility. The builder does. That is the actual situation we are talking about.
You are right that they choose, but the choosing does not have to be rigid. The most effective builders I have observed are not the ones who push hardest. They are the ones who know when to stop pushing, when to let the work take a shape they did not plan for, when the burning of one thing opens the ground for something that could not have been built before.
That is psychologically sound. The alchemists understood this. The prima materia, the raw substance, must be broken down before the transformation can occur. The fire is not the enemy of meaning, it is often the condition for it. The question is whether the person who built the thing can survive the dissolution psychologically, whether they have enough of a stable core to endure the loss without losing themselves entirely.
And that stable core is built the same way everything else is built, by practice. By returning again and again to what is actually yours, the effort, the intention, the quality of attention you bring to the work today, not tomorrow, not the legacy, today. If you practice that, the burning does not erase you. It cannot, because you were never identified with the building to begin with.
I find that almost persuasive, but I want to resist it slightly. Identification with the work is not always pathological. It can be the form that full commitment takes. When I built the Red Book across those years of crisis, I was not detached. I was inside it completely. And that wholeness of investment, which looked from the outside like dangerous identification, was also what made it what it is. The question is not whether to be inside the work or outside it. The question is what you are made of when the inside and the outside are no longer separable.
You have both arrived at the same place from different roads. The builder who is fully committed and the builder who holds lightly are not actually different people. They are the same person at different moments. The difficulty is not choosing which one to be. It is understanding that both are already true at once.
Fine. But someone listening to this has a project they have been afraid to commit to because they already know it might fail. That person does not need a paradox. They need a direction.
And the direction I would offer is not forward into action, not yet. The direction is inward, briefly. Ask what the building is for, not for the world. For you, what question is it trying to answer? Because if you do not know, the fire will tell you, and that is a harder way to learn.
My direction is simpler. Begin. Pay attention. Do not confuse the work with the proof of yourself. If you can separate those two things, the rest becomes much lighter.
Those are not wrong, but they are incomplete without this. Know before you lay the first stone that you are laying it in ground that is not permanent, not as a way of caring less, as a way of caring more precisely. You are not building for all time. You are building for right now, with everything you have, knowing that right now is what you actually own.
The grief you feel when it burns is information. Do not rush past it. Do not manage it with philosophy before you have felt it fully. That grief tells you what you were actually investing in. And that knowledge, if you can bear to receive it, is more valuable than the thing that burned.
Sometimes what burns was already finished. You just could not see it until the fire.
You have heard the argument from every angle. Now hear the one thing none of that argument could say on its own. Here is what is true. You can build something meaningful while accepting that it might all burn down, but not by pretending the loss will not matter, and not by excavating your psychology before you begin. You do it by making a clear decision about what the work actually is. The work is not the result. The work is the quality of attention and care you bring to each day of building. That part is yours, completely, fully yours. The outcome, whether it stands or falls, whether it is remembered or forgotten, whether it outlasts you or collapses the moment you stop holding it up, that part was never yours. Not for a single day. Most people reverse this. They treat the outcome as theirs and the effort as negotiable. They hold back commitment because commitment feels dangerous when the result is uncertain, but that is exactly backward. Commit fully to what you control, which is the work itself. Hold loosely everything else. This does not make the loss painless. It makes the loss survivable. And more than that, it makes the building real, because you built it as a full human act, not as an attempt to defeat time. Today, try this. Find the place in your current project where you have been holding back because you are afraid of what happens if it fails. Name it plainly. Then ask yourself, is what I am protecting the work, or the proof that the work will succeed? Those are different things. Do the work, release the proof. That is the whole practice. The fire is not your enemy. It never was. What you build is real while you are building it. That is enough. It has always been enough. The question is not whether your work will last. The question is whether you were fully there while it was yours to tend. Go tend it. If today's conversation has served you, take it further. Pay Attention by C. Trebu, 12 Lessons in the Practice of Seeing Clearly. Available now on Amazon.